another caller coming in from Massachusetts. Let's see who it is.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Drunk Turkey Show. You're live on air. How's it going?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much. Who are we speaking with?
Yeah, my name is Brian.
How's it going, Brian? Hope you're having a fantastic evening. What are your...
Yeah, man. I actually stumbled across your show. I don't know. I was just kind of going through the YouTube feed, and it popped up. And probably because I've been, watching some of the facts on this case and the stuff that's been coming out. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't been completely as invested probably most of the people that are watching the show, but I'm getting more invested as this is going on and just kind of coming up with my own theories. So I wrote some notes down before I called the show, and maybe you guys can answer some of the questions, or maybe these are some thoughts that you guys have had as well too. Perfect. So my perspective is I definitely think it's someone that's in the local area. I don't think this was just a random attack. Someone just came through and, randomly ended up at this home and murdered these four, tragically murdered these four individuals. So I think it's someone definitely local. Like saying, I don't think it was a random attack. It was definitely planned. I think that the person or people were definitely waiting for them, possibly maybe inside the house. I don't know if that theory has been put out there at all. I think the Moscow police, from what I'm seeing, I think they completely are just lost in this case overall. And I was reading, I guess now the FBI is involved in this case and helping and assisting the Moscow police, probably because it's just so over their head. Another thing I'm just thinking about too is why wouldn't they release more information? Why wouldn't they put more information? What are they hiding? And it just makes it seem like they don't have any leads at all. Because I would think in a theory with a case so public and so worldwide known that they would start putting out some more information. Let's see. Another question I had too is there were two other people in the house and they've been cleared as suspects.
Right. Yeah,
that's interesting. How? They didn't hear or see anything.
Yeah, that one it's a little odd, but yeah, there was two other people in the house. They were cleared. It appears that they weren't aware of anything that was going on at the time.
That's strange to me, and I'm sorry to cut you off because it was like we were talking about this with a coworker today. He was like, those people, the two people that were cleared, they had to have known what's going on. They had to have known the people that have done this. And then, has there any theories come up about any maybe drug activity, something like that, or money, or something like that theory? I don't know if these girls would be involved in anything like that, but
there was a theory on Xana's mom because she got arrested around the time of the murders. I think before the murders, maybe I think it was after. I think it was a few days after, and it was for some type of drug possession.
Mm-hmm. And then just the other thing that I just find spellbinding, from what I'm hearing, like in that area, there's so much activity, so many people around it, so many hours of the night that this just, this college town is booming. You're watching the videos, there's so many people out on the streets that no one has seen or heard anything, and that we know of, right. that information hasn't been released. Mm-hmm. I just find it crazy that no really solid information has been released, and now they have to start thinking about it. The person or people that have done this now have a 30-day lead on the cops. So if they're gone, they're out of town.
Right.
And they're not hanging out in the area.
Now, as far as the reason why they're not releasing information or everything out there, it's probably because they definitely have more information that we're aware of. That Adam call or surveillance footage that came out just recently, apparently law enforcement had that the day after or the day after that, after the murder. So they had that information. Now, a lot of the stuff's going to be hidden from us because of folks like, for instance, Ian Harsh. Now, I'm not saying that he's a liar or whatnot, but a lot of what he's putting out there is inconsistent. It could be, suspicious, and it's also something maybe perhaps he's involving himself for his own clout to build his own, become a minor celebrity or whatnot.
Right.
And so you might have people that are looking at this case and throwing their name in there just to get that attention. Yeah. And you have to weed those guys out. So, for instance, if they have a clear manner of entry, and they don't want to put that out there. That's because if somebody comes forward, like, all right, you're claiming you did this. How did you get in the house? And if they say something differently than what they know, then they know this guy's BSing or whatever the case may be. And so it's to validate certain things. And then also, for instance, let's just say there was something found at the house, maybe a shoe, right? They're not going to put that out there. They're going to be like, hey, have you ever been to that house? Let's just say they found somebody with that they suspect that owns a shoe. And they're like, yeah, people that go to that house, is it customary that they take their shoes off? No. And why was your shoe off in the house? You get what I'm saying? And so those are things that they're going to kind of talk them into. And so I'm fairly positive they have more, but there are some things that lead me to believe that they're not as far on as they may want to be, or as they lead on that they know. And one of the things is that Hyundai Elantra that was videotaped coming in from the gas station. They didn't go outside of Moscow until after that, which it's one or two things. Either they had no reason to believe that somebody from outside of town was coming in, and they're just crossing their T's and dotting their I's, or this was something brand new, had no idea, and now they have to expand their search. I believe it's the latter. And so, that is concerning, and that's one thing that, as this case goes longer, the chances of it becoming a cold case increases.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think that. And I was saying, I mean, just on this and the YouTube, this is the type of activity that goes on every single night in this area. So it's just hard to really, believe that no one heard or seen anything. Really quick before I go, because I don't want to hog up your time. And by the way, you guys have a great show. I just subscribed. I'm going to follow along on the channel. And you guys out there in the audience world, please give these guys a thumbs up. Get their channel out in the algorithm. I'm a small YouTuber too, so I don't want to plug my channel or anything. It's all good. I'm trying to grind my way up too as well. But yeah, give this guys a thumbs up. It's a great channel. And just really quick before I can go, and I know I can only hear, I think it's Daniel I'm speaking with, and the other gentleman I can't. But I haven't, like I said, I just stumbled into the channel. Just what are your theories? Just real quick. Do you think it's someone local? Do you think it's someone that came in, or?
I'll go first. My theory is that it's somebody somewhat close. Hearing the Adam take and them being close, and then you see how much that Kaylee is on the phone after the fact, and you hear what she says. In my opinion, I think whatever Madison told Adam is potentially direct. There was potentially another person involved in that conversation, and that person is who could have contacted Kaylee and said, hey, Madison told Adam this. And then she's like, what did you tell Adam? I told him everything. That's one thing that I can think of. And that person who is who's that second source or whatever, it could be the guy. And then the other guy that I suspect, it's Adam himself. I mean, he's working at the bar that they were at. He gets out of work at 2 a.m. or the bar closes at 2 a.m. By the time he's getting home, which is literally 2 houses down the street, that's probably between 3 and 5 a.m. The police are looking at surveillance and asking for tips between 3 and 6 a.m. He's there, he's awake, he's has a relationship with these girls, and as they're leaving the very close, there's a conversation about what Madison told him in a direct, in my opinion, in a stressful manner. It wasn't a happy, like, hey, what did you tell Adam? It was more under duress. And so I'm leaning in that direction. The police haven't cleared him. The family says that they don't believe he's involved, but the police hasn't come forward saying that. So if the police comes forward to say that, then I might, lean on that direction, but I think it's that direction. I know you can't hear the guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to hang up so I can hear the other gentleman speak. But real quick before I go, what do you think the information that was said? Any theory on that?
On what was said where?
Between, you said that this certain information got said and might have pissed this Adam kid off, or.
Well, I mean, if Kaylee was the target, which it appears to be so,
Sure.
And it's not the ex-boyfriend, an immediate ex-boyfriend, usually something with the weapon that they used and going through 4, it would indicate to me that this was some kind of, very angry, passionate, out
Right.
of passion type of thing. So I'm assuming that this is possibly some type of love interest or somebody who assumed that they
Relationship.
had
Yeah.
a
Yep.
relationship. And
Right.
Enon kind of throws that vibe at me, when he was talking about, seeing the girls, and he talks about
Yeah.
Kaylee more than the other ones. And then he talks about talking with her. I giving them the wine. A part of me suspects that interaction didn't happen anywhere else but his head.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, and he's infatuated and he's coming up with these scenarios and these things, and he's making him believe, he's putting that in his head, similar to like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, where you can't figure out what's real and what's not.
Right.
He might be
Yeah.
doing something very similar where he's
Sure.
not in there. I mean, he's contradicts himself a lot.
Yeah.
But
What makes weird sense to me is that he
and
was
Blue's
at
talking.
the wine,
Yeah.
and then he
Well, you
decided,
guys, I appreciate your time. You have almost 700 people watching. That's pretty dope, and keep things going. This is a great channel. I know I'm going to hang up and continue to watch. So thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
if you want, go ahead. Just plug in your channel. I'm curious as to where it's at.
I'll type in the chat in there. I'm watching you guys, but I appreciate your time. And wow, you almost have 700 people right now. That's awesome. So
Yes, sir.
Enjoy. Have a good show, guys.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Have a good night.
And Angie Fieldhouse from Indiana, just give us about 2 minutes and then we'll take your call. We'll take calls again. I want to he asked, what were y'all's theories on it? We'll go with you, Jaime. Who do you think it is?
You know what, man? Like, it's hard to tell, but I think that the suspect or the perpetrator of this wasn't personal to the victims, but there was more like an acquaintance, someone that was probably in their home sometime, during like a house party or whatever,
Right.
and knows the layout of the home and knows somewhat of their schedule, and so maybe I feel like it's the same thing that you said. Like, maybe it might be the guy got mad because he thought he had a chance with one of the victims, and ended up not having a chance, or not, like, being turned down, and that kind of set him off. But I believe it's someone more of an acquaintance, that, or maybe a love interest. You know what I mean?
Right. What about you, Big Blue? Who are you thinking?
okay, well, first I gotta say, four locals ain't nothing. This
All
is
right.
it's a good stuff right here, Slane. I'm repping your stuff tonight because it's good. But I don't think
Gosh.
it's anybody that we have in our crosshairs yet, man. I honestly don't. Honestly, because there were there's too much video evidence of them where they're at and where they've been, and the cops can, use cellular triangulation now to find you where you're at, especially if you have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, anywhere you go, it says where you're at. So kids these days carry their phones everywhere. So I want to say
Yeah.
it's if it was one of them, they can get a subpoena and find out where they were at, and they're getting knocked off the list pretty easily. So I want
For
to say
sure.